Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, be you Clydeside, Stateside, Rhineside, or worldwide, rise up and join us. The Scottish Falcons are back with an extra special guest tonight. As always, I'm the international sensation, as I've been called by some. The Scottish psychopath, as I've been called by others. But however you catch me, I am Will the Thrill Waddell. To my left is my co-host with the most and the original Scottish Falcon himself, Des Stevenson. Des, how are you?
Yeah, fantastic, mate. Good week this week. I love getting woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning with fireworks. Absolutely fantastic, mate. So yeah,
Oh,
it's been fantastic. All I would say, mate, is that I probably feel as much anger towards the guy that's selling all the fireworks as I do to this head coaching staff or this coaching staff in
oh
Atlanta.
yeah.
So
Trust me,
yeah,
I agree. There's going to be some more fireworks if we don't get this win. I tell you that much. And introducing down below is a very special guest. He's a debutant as far as the AFN International goes, but as far as Atlanta Falcons Nation LLC goes, he's royalty. He's a man of many talents, and as such, he's known by many names. But around here, we will just call him the coach. How are you, my brother? It's a pleasure to have you on with us.
What's going on, Will? What's up, Des? Hey, man, I'm here. First
What's
time
up?
on the show, man. I'm excited. A little nervous, actually.
Oh yeah.
Bit, but hey, man, we're going to talk about some Falcon football, man. Let's get started. That's all we can do.
Let's get it. As I say, the frequent flyers down in the chat. Tony Hall showing the red and black nice and early. We've got another one as well. Terence, a new one up in the building. Rise up, fellas. Oh yeah. We rise up and keep rising. They like to try and knock us down, but we keep on keeping on. And while they talk about knockdowns, while some of the other fans and viewers get settled, let's talk a little about the week that's just been. So, as I say, it's not been a great one. Losing 24-23 over in Foxborough, missing the kick to tie. Obviously, we will get into a little bit about how some of the fans have taken that it's Michael Penix Jr.'s fault. I don't see how a quarterback can be blamed for missing an extra point, but that's beside the point. But now we're 3-5. We're quickly running out of chances. So, coach, having a few days to kind of process that and reset in terms of getting ready for Germany. Where are you at, kind of with the team right now? How are you feeling?
Disappointed. To be honest, very disappointed. But last week's game, I had no expectations because of the way they played the week prior. It's like, okay, they're not going to play well. I just got this, and I took the whole week to realize, because I never talked about coaches. I never put blame on coaches, and I had to sit back and think. I was like, man, why are they losing? Why are they playing so? Yeah, my reality check, because I've coached all these years. I'm like, okay, it could be my fault. It can be their fault too. So, yeah, the blame goes on the coaches, man, because this team is too talented to not be able to produce. And
Yeah.
I brought up another point last week in the show last week. It's like, I think the coaches are overwhelmed by all the talent they have. And with the same point, Raheem should have hired a vet coach for this first year. He brought Zach along later.
Mm-hmm.
I think with an experienced head coach, don't have to be the greatest. Just an experienced experienced offensive coordinator who's actually called plays in the NFL. I thought Zach can do it because he was on the Shun 2 lists for a couple of years, but you see that he can create, but he just can't call plays at the right time. All plays are designed to work. When you call plays at a certain time, it's like, okay, wrong time. Attack. He doesn't attack defense's weakness. So, but yeah. It's just crazy, man. So, but like I said, I'm very disappointed in this team because I expected more. I'm sure all the fans expected more, but they're just not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, as you say, Coach, 100%. I couldn't have said it better myself. We have all the talent in the world, some of the best respective players in their positions in the league, and we just can't put it together. I think that must be the fault of the coaches. Des, what's your take been on the last, as I say, processing this now that we've obviously gotten rid of the kicker, Parker Romo, brought in Zane Gonzalez, who I do like. He's not bad. He's not bad. It was worse. It wasn't as bad as the alternative that I did think the Falcons were going to go down at one point. I thought they were going to be the NFL team that gave Rodrigo Blankenship his road back into the league for just a second.
Yeah,
I thought we were going to be those guys, but
it may happen next time.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of far enough down that road. We don't want to kind of jinx anything, but yeah, Des, how are you feeling about it all? It's not been the best of weeks, has it?
Yeah, I mean, the issue I've got with this team is the fact that the sum of their parts are actually worse than what their parts is, and what I mean with that is this team offensively should be a top 10, top 5 offense. Nobody questioned it at the start of the season. Mm-hmm. We've seen snippets, but we're back to the same old Atlanta Falcons, just like we lived through with Arthur Smith, effectively an offensive coordinator who came up to head coach, and the offense was bitty constantly.
Yep.
You literally had some times when you thought if this offense continues the way it's going, I mean, that we could be going to the big game, you know what I mean? Then you'll go to the next play and it's just a shambles. And we're getting that again with the Atlanta Falcons. What I would say is that there was times with Arthur Smith where the players weren't great, and he actually got wins from that, but it wasn't enjoyable to watch. It was not fun to watch. And then we're back to.
But at the same time, I'll take a scrappy win, Des. That's the thing. A win's a win, as they say. But at the same time, as I say, there has to be some style and substance together as well. As I say, I wanted to just take a second before you go on. Sorry.
Yeah, go for
Sorry.
it.
On you go, Des.
Yeah.
No, just before you do.
Yeah, see when you've got Bijan, you've got Drake London, you've got Kyle Pitts, you've got Tyler Algier.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got that, they kind of players, you've got Michael Penix Jr., who is effectively putting this offense on his back. When you've got that offense, it shouldn't be a scrappy win. It shouldn't be scrappy. We've got the weapons there, Will. That's what upsets me. We've got the weapons there. But when you look at some teams in the NFL and you look at players, some of the players that you've never heard of, and they're taking over the league because the sum of their parts, the team is better than the sum of their parts because they've got good coaching staff. This team is worse than the sum of their parts. That's my biggest issue when it comes to this coaching staff.
Yeah, I completely see what you're saying. I mean, it's been inadequate coaching to where, as I say, like you can run the names off a board when it comes to the Falcons team, both on offense and on defense. The one caveat I would say that yes, some of those guys that we expect to emerge at a high level, they're very, very young. That might come in a year or two, and we're prepared for that. And I'd like to take a wee second just while we are getting into the nitty gritty of the last week to shout out our listeners on X. This is a recent follower of mine. So Dan, if you want to jump on sometime for a chat, as I say, you know where to get at me. Just hit me up on X and we'll talk birds sometime. It's what we love to do.
Yeah, Dan's one of the old faithfuls. So I actually I challenged him because he put out an X. His followers, they put out all pictures of all the followers, and I sent a wee gif as if to kind of say, well, I'm here, you know what I mean? The Scottish Falcon, you know what I mean? It's so.
Oh, there you go, Des. We've got the OG seal of approval.
Listen, what I'm going to say to Dan is, I can see that. I can see the colour of that beard. And if he knows anything about the ginger beard and that's definitely, there's definitely Scottish in him somewhere. He's definitely got ancestors that came across the pond.
And you know what? He also couldn't have been a Falcons fan for too long. It's not went great yet.
Yeah. What I would say, is if anybody doesn't understand that, literally 80% of people with ginger hair effectively have came from Scotland. So
yeah.
So he's definitely got some heritage in there anyway. That's for sure.
So that's where Prince Harry came from, then.
That's the crazy thing for such a small country in the grand scheme of things. We do tend to get around. That's the crazy thing. But unlike some of our neighbours, who shall remain nameless, we tend to be well received wherever we go. And we'll leave it at that and carry on, shall we? But as I say, we do have some serious talk to get into, and this is something that obviously I wanted to kind of open up a segment about in a broader context. So this is something that you're going to hear Coach and I discuss probably tomorrow with Ant and Magnus and Knight Rider on the regulators, but. Former Western Michigan Broncos and Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Nealand has passed away. He took his own life. He was only 24 years old. And this was only 3 days, or at the time when I read it, it was 3 days. It's now just under a week after he scored his first career touchdown. So I'll flash up a photo there of the young man. But as I say, our sincere condolences, our thoughts and prayers to the friends and family. Just a tragic situation all around. Coach, as I say, 24 years old. That's no age whatsoever. But it makes you, yeah. As I say, it's young. I was saying to Anne earlier on in the background chat, like that's younger than my stepkids. It's you think about that, and it really sets things home for you. And I mean, like as I say, I don't know if, like, do you feel like there's a stigma like this? Like there is a broader question here, and it's something that I'll put to both you boys. But I mean, do you feel like it's not just football? I mean, when you're talking about all pro sports, mixed martial arts, even into pro wrestling, I mean, yeah, the CTE and the fact that you have an average career length of 3 seasons before injuries mount up, and some of them end up medicated by some means or other. It can all have a factor, but at the end of the day, could you give me your take on this sort of epidemic? Because it seems to be going on a long time as well, Coach. I mean, you've been involved in the sport for a long time, and I mean, it doesn't seem to be going away, does it?
It doesn't. According to stuff that I read about this situation, his mom went right before draft night, I think, if I'm not mistaken. This is something I heard about. And he's been dealing with that since it has happened. So this is just my own perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That night he scored the touchdown. That was his best game he's ever played as a Dallas Cowboy that night. So mindset, just like I said, this is just me. He didn't have nobody to celebrate with. You guys kind of feel he had something in the speed chase from the car thing. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why he was being chased by the police. So
I could speculate that because he felt he had no one, it was a cry for help.
He had nowhere to turn. Now,
and this is what I would say if you are down in the chat, and this is where I not tread on the toes, but this is where I'm going to take a little leaf out of Maggie's page from the Candid Room. If you're down in the chat and you are struggling, there are some things that are bigger than football. If you just want to talk man to man, go, look, I'm struggling, Will, and your shows make me feel better. We have had comments like that, and you have no idea how much it means to me, to Des, to Coach, to read these things, because, as I say, as men ourselves, we know what it's like the stigma of big boys don't cry and like suck it up, Buttercup. You're stronger than that, and as we say in Scotland, and all that pish, because it really, at the end of the day, God gave you a Y chromosome and not an adamantium skeleton. You're not built for this life. None of us are. So we're not. I don't think any of us are meant to get through it alone.
Exactly.
How do you feel? I mean, it's just tragic, isn't it? No, I was just going to say. I mean, I'll get your thoughts on it, and then we'll come back to you, Coach. But it's tragic, isn't it, Des?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know like all the news surrounding it, but as you said, I mean, I don't care who you are or where you're from. If you feel that popping me a message, DMing me on Twitter, if you're struggling, then let me know. I'm more than happy to effectively get involved. What I would also say is that if you are feeling like that and you are feeling that there's no way out, or you've came to the end, there's always somebody there. I mean, there'll be people on here that I've never met, I've never spoke to. I've literally, I've got nothing to do with the guys or gals out there, and effectively, if they message me, I'll give them my 100% opinion, and I'll help them, and I'll point them in the right direction. At the end of the day, the one thing I've learned in life is it's always better to share what you're feeling inside, and that is where the stigma comes to. We are used to, and I'll say specifically men, because most of the suicides are effectively young men. They have pressure put on their shoulders. They need to do this. They need to do that. They might have a family. They're waking up every day knowing that if they don't go and do what they have to do, their family suffers. And what most men do is they put their own health at risk, as long as their family are as long as their kids and their wife are happy, they will take the brunt of the pain and the suffering, because they see their kids laughing, they see their wives happy. But unfortunately, what that then does is that's effectively working inside the person, and it literally gets to a point where they look and they see that there's nothing else that they can do. People, and men especially, need to understand that they need to watch and see the signs when you get your first. If you ever feel that you're suicidal, talk to somebody. The Samaritans. Phone anybody. Message me. Message Will. Message Coach. Don't effectively be a statistic. Don't go down that route. Always talk to anybody. And what you'll find is that by opening up to an unknown person, and they then show you the compassion and the empathy that you deserve because of what you're going through, that's when you'll see that actual human nature is actually, no matter what you see in news, no matter what you see is happening in the world, 99.9% of humans and people are empathetic. They want everybody to be good.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Des. And as I say, just to echo those sentiments, we always add in the hashtag when we talk about all of our tags at the end of a show, the AFN is family. And as I say, we hold to that. So if there's anything we can do, as I say, you know how to get us. But we'll turn that back to football now. And Dan's saying that isn't it also a symbiotic relationship between the QB and the OC, and that level of respect and experience, because with some level, Pennick's making his own decisions. The OC handcuffs the entire situation based on his calls. The young QB is told to sit down and shut his mouth. Yeah, but at the same time, Dan, I feel like the coaching staff hasn't taken 100% accountability for their own shortcomings. Des has said a few times on this show that Coach Raheem will tell you a lot and say nothing. And it's something that, like, as I say, like up until just an hour before the show, I was asking the guys, is this more of this Raheem just opening his mouth and just letting words just materialize? I don't know, almost to a point, how much faith how much stock to put in what he says. And there you go. We may have another guest lined up as well for the future. So after the show, I will hit you up on X, Dan, and we can get something set in stone. There you go. The family keeps growing. But yeah, let's move off that horrific little blip, we'll call it, against New England, and talk about Sunday then. So the Dirty Birds have descended into Deutschland. So when you're talking about a team that's 7-2, the number one seeds in the AFC South, coach, in the Indianapolis Colts, and as I said to you in the chat as well, when you're talking about running backs and you're not saying Bijan's number one, chances are you're going to be arguing that the best running back in the league is Jonathan Taylor. So what are you expecting from Sunday's game? Do you think we can rise up in the Rhineland, or do you think this is another L?
If we can't stop their run game, we got a problem. Because Daniel Jones has turned to a brand new man in there.
Yeah,
his play action,
it's worryingly so.
his play action, Indianapolis play action play has been very legit this year. He's throwing the ball for all of his receivers, not just one. And they got the young tight end kid there that's pretty good. So, but we got to play solid run defense, because that team starts with the run. If they can't run the ball, they don't win either. Look at the games that they've been kind of shut down in the run game. They lost those games. When they've been able to run the ball, they've been very, very effective. But as far as us, we just got to have better play call. We have to have better play call.
Yeah.
And
this is one thing I was going to say to you, Coach. I mean, from a coaching standpoint, we have given, obviously, I feel like he's been the best of a bad bunch in many ways, but we've given Jeff Ulbrich a lot of passes at points,
exactly.
And obviously a lot of credit. But I feel like the fact that we are the third worst team in the league at stacking the box, well, that's a defensive play call and adjustment that needs to be made. So I feel like no one of the three, when you're talking about the three-headed monster at the head of the coaching staff, I don't feel like anyone's completely faultless in this. And I'm sure you boys would agree. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, what I would say is, I see, to be honest, that the Jeff Ulbrich slander and these, I mean, I can't say anything about that man. This defense was horrendous last year. For us to be sitting here now talking about the fact that we can't really stop the run game is our only major issue when it comes to defense. That's a positive. That's a tick the box. That effectively Jeff Ulbrich, what he's done with this defense is nothing short of phenomenal. There's going to be times where effectively we're going to, and we do suffer with the run game, but at the end of the day, what Jeff Ulbrich is trying to do is he's come in here, his first season, and he's effectively band-aided this defense together and brought in players that are, I mean, bearing in mind that a lot of our defense of players are rookies, and he's getting effectively, he's getting elite play out of the rookies. So whatever happens, if he's here next year, then the defense will get better, and he'll get more players in place. But I can't have any slander when it comes to Jeff Ulbrich. Jeff Ulbrich is probably the only coaching member of this staff that gets a pass, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I will give him his shine. Like nothing of what I said there was a slander. I'm just saying that obviously that like we have not stacked the box, and it's something that may come back to hurt us on Sunday if we can't do it. Because I mean we do have an edge missing as well, which was one thing that I was going to single out. I don't know which one's going to come out to be more important, obviously in the landscape of the game, and maybe you would have a better idea than us on this one, Coach. But I mean, neither Matthew Bergeron nor Leonard Floyd travelled with the team, so obviously therefore not available to play. So thinking that or assuming that the rookies are going to go hell for leather as they do now that Jalen's back to pretty much full health, do you think the bigger concern is going to be the state of the offensive line unit that we're putting out there?
I thought Hen did a great job last week when he came in for Bergeron. I don't think I don't feel that it will be a big thing because he did play a lot of games last year also as well when Lynch was out. So I'm not really worth. And the offensive line hasn't really been the problem this year though. That's the thing. I know we can't run the ball like we want to, but like you said earlier when Raheem said, well, the offense run through Bijan. What you gonna do? You're gonna focus on Bijan. You're gonna stop him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But having Leonard Floyd out, it's going to hurt just a little bit because of the rotation. But I think James Pierce is going to step up, though. I think he's going to be the one that's going to actually step up this week with probably getting more snaps as well because Leonard's gone. But,
I would think so. It would be kind of weak to step up for me.
I don't think it's going to be a big effect.
I just feel like I don't want to see the defense get as tired. I don't ever want to see the defense get as tired as they were against Miami. Like halfway through the third quarter, they were breathing fumes. I don't want to see that again from my defense.
I think that week, that Miami week, I think they was just resting the whole. I don't think they practiced that week. I think they were like, okay, this man.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Coach. Can I ask why when you look at James Pierce Jr., so effectively he's only participated in one practice this week. The same as DeMarco Hellams, and they classing it as not injury related other. So, and I know somebody put out the other day that effectively he was standing at the side with just his standard clothes on. So, I mean, they're not resting him because effectively he's not he's only had like limited practice in the Friday practice. So, do we know what the issue is? Do you know anything, Coach?
I haven't heard anything about that. Not that he hasn't practiced all week. So.
Yeah, him and DeMarco Hellams literally didn't practice at all this week except for Friday, and it was all both of them had limited practice. Yeah, so I mean, just really confusing. Confusing.
It could be rest or some little minor or something that they had to put them in the report because people do watch and see who's flashing, who's not. So they had to go on something they would practice. So that's the only thing about the NFL. If you're not, they have what they call them, I guess, official monitors at every practice. He's not there. Why he's not on the injury report? Just like the time when when Bijan was enlisted for the headache last year, same situation. So they had to be listed for something if they was in the practice. It can just be undisclosed. So as long as they say it was on the injury report and it was limited, they're safe. So.
It could be something as much as just even rest for depth's sake because they know they're down Leonard Floyd, at least in the case of James Pierce Jr. anyway, so they can go, it's non-specific, then they don't have to list a physical issue, but they can limit them and essentially preserve them for
illness or anything, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like there could be a little bit of that because obviously we have been hampered severely by the injury bug so far this season. But yeah, I mean, when you're talking about what to expect, like, as you say, they're in a pretty good, pretty effective play action game now. Obviously, because you're not quite sure whether he's going to be able to get the ball out to his receivers or if JT is going to take off. So they're quite dynamic in that regard. So as I say, my worry and as I say, I'll pass it around and see how you guys feel. My key to victory, as I say, is going to be what essentially, can we pass the ball, but can we also be, you mentioned stopping the run, and I think it's broader than that. I think we need to be flexible enough to kind of, like, as Des said earlier on in the show, we need to kind of be able to roll with the punches a little bit with this team, I think. And I feel like if we're able to do that, then we can come out with a win. But we need to start fast as well. So what are your kind of keys to the victory, if we should be able to get it, Coach? What do you think we need to do to get back on track here?
Tackle better, run the ball better, play calling, simple. We have to have good play calling on the offensive side. But Raheem, well, I'm tired of talking about Raheem. However, if this team is taking on his mentality, which is not tough, more happy-go-lucky, we're gonna just do the necessary instead of we're gonna do extra. We're gonna have a problem. It took me a long time to realize that, but we're gonna have a problem. That he's not the guy that's gonna rah you and say we're gonna fight to the end. He's gonna say we're gonna get you next time. So.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's the kind of, I've mentioned this before on a few occasions. I feel like he's going out of his way to be everyone's friend, and I feel like when you're in the role of a head coach, you kind of need to leave some of that stuff at the door, and kind of do your job to a point. I feel like it's the same in bringing Robinson over, when, as you say, Coach, there were plenty of more qualified individuals who could have stepped in and perhaps done a better job in the long run, but we know how that played out, as I say. But when you talk about like key matchups as well, outside of like the obvious, I just feel like what's worrying me is the fact that we didn't pick up anyone on the trade deadline, and yet, as you told me today, we've got rid of Street, we've got rid of TQ Graham as well, so we're slimming down on the defensive line as well. So we're obviously confident in the guys that we've got in the middle. So, I mean, have you seen much, like, have you seen much like Flair out of that defensive line worth writing home about? Like, if the guys worth healthy, if these are the guys that have been cut.
Like when Zach's healthy, Zach's a beast down there. Sam Roberts has stepped up more than I expect him to do. That's why they was able to cut Street as well. So when them cutting Street, that means Zach should be back this week. That's just my expectation. Because he didn't play last week. So Harrison should be back this week. So they're gonna roll with a six man rotation on that D line, which is gonna be LaCal, Roberts, and Dorless, as well as Rook, Anyamata, and Harrison. So they're gonna be your six going forward now. It's like I said, when I like that. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just looking over what you were saying there, and I'm like, I kind of, in theory, I like that. Yeah. Just definitely keeping it fresh up front. I know a few people were saying that maybe we needed that 330-pound guy in the middle, but I feel like I feel like D tackle by committee is an underrated skill as well. Mob tackling is almost a lost art, and as you say, the Falcons seem to have lost the art as well, because as coach says, we need to learn to tackle better.
One thing you just said, Will, that we do need a bigger guy. The guys we have now, we got 3-4 guys. We don't have. We have 4-3 guys, not 3-4 guys. So when you're playing a 3-4, you need that big old nose step in the middle. That's going to take them two. Yeah. These guys are getting blocked by one person.
Yeah.
Only reason they get blocked is they get through the lanes. Then another guy's checking with them. We don't have no guy who's going to take that double team on right now.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted us to. I know he's up there in years. He's got a few miles on the gas tank, but I felt like we could have done worse than bringing in maybe a Shelby Harris or something like that. Like we like just to kind of stem up that middle a little bit. But as I say, we've been quiet through the trade deadline now, so I guess we're happy with the guys we've got. But as I say, the Sam Roberts, he's done a good job since coming across. So we're glad to see that. As I say, there's still a couple of guys down in the practice squad as well, if the worst should occur as well. But we'll throw this one to you first, Des, this time. So if we actually lose the game, which, as I say, it could be a possibility, given everything that we've said tonight so far, but if we did lose the game and we end up falling to then 3-6, are we going to see a coaching change? And I'm talking about maybe OC, maybe head coach, maybe both, or maybe nothing at all. Where do you kind of fall on that?
Well, with this Atlanta franchise, you don't know. You just don't know. I mean, we're talking about Jimmy Lake lasted a full season. You know, I mean, if you're not telling me after 6 or 7 games last year that Jimmy Lake just shouldn't have been there, he lasted to the end of the season, and that shows you the issue we've got with this franchise. You know, I mean, they're not loyal enough when they should be loyal. They're too loyal when they shouldn't be loyal. You know what I mean? If we lose, and I can't. I mean, one thing I would say is that see the fans that are in Germany, they are going to make this a home game for the Falcons. And all I got to say is this fan base deserves a good team so much, because we give everything to this team. But I can't see anything other than a loss tomorrow. I mean, I'm praying for a win, but my head's saying it's going to be a loss. Now, at 3-6, bearing in mind this same time last year, we were 6-3, and we ended up having a losing season. So if we go 3-6, the season's over. But the issue I've got more than anything is I don't even know if that'll make any difference on changes, whether Raheem will go, whether Zach Robinson will go. I really don't know, because there's no rhyme or reason to this organization, and that's why we're in this situation. As I said before the show, when we talk about who's at fault, we had Mick Vrabel, who was my number one. He was the coach I wanted. We had him in the room. We had Ben Johnson in the room. You know what I mean? Jim Harbaugh, Harbaugh we had in the room. So effectively, and we then went to Raheem Morris, who's had 80 odd games as a head coach and has a losing record. So,
for all intents and purposes, we let a Super Bowl coaching staff walk out the door. What could have easily been, but like as you say, 3-6 the season for all intents and purposes would be gone, because, as I say, looking forward at what we can do, I don't even think winning out the South would be enough to save it, because some of the divisional opponents are still coming up that are going to be tough for us. So I mean, I think this essentially becomes a must-win game. And how do you feel about it, Coach? Like, if we lose this, is it the end of the road for one of these coaches, or are you in the same boat as Des? Are you like, I don't know anymore?
I want to say yes, it's the end for at least one of them. Most likely, Zach will be the scapegoat. Well, he's not a scapegoat, but will be the one to go. But if you, I understand what Dad said. If you get rid of Raheem, who's going to be the head coach?
Yeah,
that's another thing. Are you going to bring Jeff Albert? You're going to put? Well, then again, Jerry Grace the assistant head coach right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So
there's a lot of kind of turmoil as well to put a team through, especially at this point in the season as well. So you kind of weigh it up and you go like, well, do you almost kind of cut your losses at a point and just go like, ride it out? And I hate to, I am in no way condoning like tanking. I'm still saying play for these games, but I mean, at the end of the day, if there's nothing to be gained by them, and you're not going to change coaching staff until the end of the season, then what's the point? But I see what you're saying completely too. coaching in regards to that. So this late on in the season, I don't know.
Can I say
Sorry.
something?
Sure can. When you go, Des.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and this is on Terry Fontenot as well. We're literally at a point where we've come off the Patriots game where Drake London was elite, like Julio Jones elite. He was phenomenal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That man's still not signed his contract. There's nothing come out about that contract. So that's on Terry Fontenot. If there was ever a week that you wanted to get that man long term on a contract, it was after that Patriots game. So, so what is happening in Atlanta? There's going to become a point where some of these players are going to look at this organization and think, I don't want to be here.
Yeah,
I want to go somewhere. We're effectively going to be at a point where we're listening to a player tell us that he wants to go somewhere where he can win. And how can you blame any of these players? No,
you can't at all. And that's what you were saying as well when you're talking about like changing culture. It's something that we've said, I feel like, since the first episode, Des, but I feel like to a certain extent, Atlanta almost has to raise its own expectations in itself because it's gotten used to the sports teams surviving at a kind of threshold, if so to speak.
See if I hear again, we just need to be a better effectively a better player than what we're playing. That effectively, I'm trying to remember what it is Raheem says. We need to be a better. It's went out my head, but
thankfully,
but it's. I mean, it's coach speaking. It's garbage. It's not going. It's not going to fire up the players.
No.
That's it. The issue. Mike Vrabel was the kind of guy that you literally see him in press conferences, and he's standing there, and it's like there's no emotion at all. You then see him at the side of the field, and he's punching and he's grabbing the players and he's shaking them, and you know what I mean. That's what you want from a coach.
Yeah.
I've heard we need to be a better version of ourselves, the best version of ourselves. You know what I mean?
It's so generic.
Well, no shit, Sherlock. Of course we need to be a better version of ourselves. You know what I mean? We've literally just... I mean, it's just garbage.
I'm all for a bit of rah-rah, but it's got its place, but at the same time, like, it has to make some semblance of sense, and I just feel like he's crossed that threshold to where it's just nonsense now. But yeah,
look at Drake London getting interviewed after the Patriots game, and he's literally looking at these reporters thinking to himself, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? And I always say this Falcons team. They're literally, they make so many silly, daft mistakes time after time after time. We get rid of Koo, we bring in Parker Romo. He's not the one, but again, we effectively put the coaching staff put their insecurity onto Parker Romo because when it was getting to 50-yard kicks, they weren't taking the kick, so they were saying to Parker Romo, we think you're crap. We don't think you can do it. That's going to get in that guy's head. You know what I mean? This is the issue with this coaching staff.
I agree.
We've then brought in Zane Gonzalez, who has been openly he's been open about OCD. And you just think to yourself, at some point, we have to start making the right decisions that are going to win us games and not the wrong decisions that's losing us a game.
So
I just hope that Bro's OCD to the level of perfectionist. Let's just say that. But yeah, I mean, like, we pride ourselves here on this show on our honesty, and for as experienced as we cumulatively are in this team, there are shows where you're going to come on and it's going to be an hour or an hour and a half of us sitting here going, we don't know what to tell you, folks.
My thing about the kicking situation, we got Lenny Craig. What worse can he do?
Yeah, absolutely.
What worse can he do?
Someone who's proved to be able to hit from 54 consistently.
But my thing is like, you're not even giving this kid a chance. You keep going out and get these guys who have kicked. Yes, I understand they kicked in the NFL. Who knows what this kid can do? You haven't given him the opportunity to do it. You got to let him try.
But again, coach, that's the coaching staff putting their insecurities onto a player.
Even the players and wide receivers we got. Why not use the guys who we know who can get down the field?
Yeah.
You bring it up
because I said this to Des. I said that to Des 2 weeks ago, over the last 2 weeks, in terms of the kicking game, coach, as well. I've said, like, how do you expect a kicker to be ready for a big game moment if you're not going to test them with the like, how do you expect them to be ready for 56 if you're not going to test them with a 48, a 50, a 51? But they just weren't showing that level. Yeah, something. Yeah, just let me keep the leg loose, coach. Just something. But yeah, like, it's the amount of just almost wanton inadequacy.
Yeah.
It's baffling. It's baffling.
Too. He's been there too long. Trying to get rid of him too, because special team coaches, it's his responsibility to make sure these guys are ready.
And that's something I've actually not mentioned, but I don't know if you guys have seen it or if it's just me getting old and cynical. But our special teams used to be better than this. There's been no pop. There's been no big play potential from the special teams at all this year.
Terrible.
Yeah, I would say Agnew's not the answer for his return, punt returner. You know what I mean? He's been okay, but nah, he's not it. And again, as I said, I think the defense is the only part of the team that gets a pass. Offense.
Have we tried? Out of curiosity, have we tried Nathan Carter as a returner? Because that might be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
So yeah, Coach Raheem, if you're listening to this, there's something to pass on to the special teams coordinator. But yeah.
Can I just pull something up as well? And again, Coach, I'm pretty sure Coach remembers this as well. There was a lot of flack going about when the final 53 came out about how many players were picked for the special teams specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of flack. Now, that's fine if the special teams play is elite or top 10, but to make the pick specifically for the special teams, and then effectively lay an egg, that's, again, as Coach says, that's on the coaching staff.
Exactly.
And that finally falls on the head coach. If he's seeing that the coaching staff ain't doing it, then something has to happen. But as I said earlier, this is a head coach that allowed Jimmy Lake to finish the season when every fan and his granny knew that Jimmy Lake, after 5 or 6 games, was not for this defense.
Yeah. But the same people who will trust that will then sell Michael Penix Jr. down the river after 12 games. I just love the topsy-turvy world of Atlanta football because it never truly makes sense all the way, all the time. And it's something that it gets frustrating after a point. But as I say, like, I'm incredibly thrilled to support this team as hard as I do. And it kind of ties back into what we were saying earlier about, obviously, you never know what's coming in life and don't be afraid to ask for help, because I played the game for 9 years. I never professed to be any good at it, but I played for love of the game. When that was taken from me by health issues, when I stopped playing music quite so much as I used to as well, doing the whole band thing, I thought that was it for me. But what you will find is that if you're a gamer, you'll know this well. Life is full of side quests, and look at what I'm doing now. I'm sitting here with a direct route to Atlanta. Probably, like, I know for a fact that I've spoken to Falcons legends. I was just talking to Ovi Mihaly the other day, and that's something that I never could have done with catching a ball. So, like, you just never know what's around the corner. But so yeah, bear that in mind in your dark days as well. All I would tell you, because as somebody who's been there and lived it, you never know what's around the corner.
Well, if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan with this team, it's a roller coaster. That's what it is.
So get used to topsy turvy corners and stuff.
I mean, that's how we talk so much about the 2016 season. You know, I mean, we didn't see it coming. I remember the offense literally was bulldozing people. I mean, it was so good. But the worst thing about the 2016 season wasn't the end result. It was the fact that it showed Atlanta Falcons fans what it feels like to actually have a team that can compete, have a team with a winning mentality.
That's the problem.
And this team's players have winning mentalities, but unfortunately, they're controlled by coaching staff that hasn't got winning mentalities. And as coach said earlier as well, it's the small things that they're making mistakes on. As he said, effectively, Raheem Morris walked into this job, and the first two picks at OC and DC were effectively first-time play callers. You know what I mean? In the NFL, I know Jimmy Lake had done it at Washington, but effectively they came in and he picked people without any experience at play calling, and that went against us with Jimmy Lake, and now this season it's going against us with Zach Robinson.
And another thing about Raheem, another problem I tell you he had, he's trying to relive 2016 instead of doing his own thing. He's not using his own thoughts. He's trying to do his thoughts of what the old team's done. He's always talking about what Cal done and what Dan Quinn was. Dude, you got to be yourself. You can't be nobody else. That's his problem. Yeah. Every time you hear him talk about, he said, "This is how Sean did it." No, how you do it, and that's his problem right there. He doesn't have his own identity.
And again, that's where you can throw Kyle Shanahan under the bus all you want, coach, but effectively Kyle Shanahan he sticks to what he does well, and it's a simplified offense, but it's quite strange to say it's a complex, simplified offense, but players can walk right into it and pick it up quite quickly, straight away. Mm-hmm. Now, and he does what he knows what he wants, and he sticks with it. Then you look at this the coaching staff. You look at Zach Robinson. Literally, Zach Robinson runs the ball 2 or 3 times. There's a bit of resistance, and then it's Michael. Screenplay. Michael, it's on to you. We know you're a rookie, but we want you to throw it 40 yards down the field and hit Drake London. No pressure, by the way, pal, but let's just do that. At some point, we need to. This Falcons team, the offense especially, needs to have an identity. Mm-hmm. If your identity is running the ball, then run the ball. If you get resistance, then change the play call, run the ball.
Move
It's
off
some.
the spot.
Coach, how many times do we have to hear from players and people that have played Atlanta who are saying the offense is predictable? We know the way, when we see the way Kyle Pitts runs or the way Drake London runs, we know what this is.
Mhm.
It's too predictable. And you know why it's too predictable? Because we've got the weapons. And the weapons we've got should make it unpredictable, but the play calling is garbage.
Yeah, and that was what I was going to say earlier, and I do apologise for the little blip there, because one thing I will explain to you, this is what happens in Scotland. You know the whole remember the 5th of November? Well, it's not just the 5th of November in Scotland. It runs from about the 16th of October to around about the 11th or 12th of November. It's a month-long celebration here, because the Neds, as we've explained, the young kids have nothing better to do with their time, and sometimes they like to hit the internet terminus and they forget that your boy's doing a show. So I'm about to get my helmet and pads out and go and knock some heads.
Oh,
If it doesn't if it doesn't stop soon, you might get an old boy out for one last run.
Just make sure you wear your helmet.
Yeah, wear your helmet for sure.
Wear your
Yeah.
helmet, mate.
And your shoulder
No,
pads.
that's it. Two concussions in 9 years is plenty. I'll call it done at that. I don't need a third. But no, as I say, like it's been a strange season. But I feel like as we've said tonight, a lot of the simple things that need to be fixed aren't being fixed, and they're being scaled up to be bigger issues. I don't think Ike Hilliard was the big reason for it all. So I feel like that was a show move, and it was the wrong show move.
I think he spoke up, and Raheem didn't like it.
And then Ray McLeod spoke up for Ike Hilliard, and Raheem didn't like it. And that's the biggest issue. You don't see Revolt in a good team. You don't see Revolt in a well-run team. You know what I mean? And you're seeing it. It's open in public. You're seeing that Ray McLeod has definitely said something about the Ike Hilliard firing.
Yeah,
and he's out the door as well.
But this is the thing. Like,
Ray
this is a sorry, coach.
I was saying Ray was actually losing playing time the week Ike got fired. So.
But it really kind of it boils down to me like it's almost the same as Ulbrich, but in a different way. Like Ulbrich wants you to be part of the mentality and buy into the whole heart, mind, fist thing, and I love that. But at the same time, I hate it from Raheem, because he's almost wanting everyone to buy into this. Oh, but we're all friends here, and it's all. But it's like, no, we need to run a business. We need to be winning. Pardon my French. We need to be fucking winning football games, and we're not doing that. And it's on fundamentals that were misfiring. And when you misfire on the fundamentals, and you're playing teams of the caliber of an Indianapolis and New England, surprisingly, it didn't happen to us against like Washington or Buffalo. But I mean, when you play teams like this, the wheels are going to come off. And coaching inadequacies, or as you've said as many times, there's the inability to adjust on the fly or play by ear. It's just we feel like we're flogging a dead horse here. But as I say, there's only so much that we can do if it doesn't change up. That's how it is.
Well, this head coach doesn't even know when to call timeouts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the fundamentals. It's the simple things. As I said earlier, we're 80 odd games in his head coaching, and statistically, he's a losing head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever he's done in the past, he's doing now, and it's not working.
Yeah. And as you say, you know from sales, or the sales as well, Des, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different results.
Yeah.
Top of the world to you, man. This is another one of the frequent flyers. You'll know him from the Falcons Pandemic. It's our brother Manuel, and the link is in the group chat. So if you want to join us for the last sort of 20 minutes, half hour, then by all means feel free. We're just sort of chopping it up a little bit about Indianapolis, what to expect, and if the worst should occur and we don't get that W, what the news is going to be like for the guys coming back. Because again, shout out to the amount of people that have went over, and I seen the flight. That was not a short flight from Atlanta to Germany.
A lot of folks went too. There's a lot of people went.
Yeah,
that, like, as I say, shout out to the Rise Up fan tour and all the fans that travel all over the world to support this team. It's such a thrill to be even some small part and keeping you guys up to date with what's happening with this team we love so much, even through all the trials and tribulations. And as I say, it wasn't hard to come up with that little tagline that we closed the show up with. It just kind of came straight off the cuff because we know how it feels. Obviously, being fans since as I say, like 2008 for you, was it?
2008.
Yeah, and around about maybe 2007 for me, and then for guys like Manuel and Coach that have been fans for from the 70s, like I can only imagine. So all the way since the days of the grit splits in '77, and all, like, they've seen it all, man. So
well, I've always said that I think and I'm not being disrespectful to fans who were born in Atlanta or grew up in Atlanta. I think the people that didn't, so the people that we know what it's like in the west of Scotland. Effectively, whatever family you're in, you're either a Rangers supporter or a Celtic supporter, and it's the same. You grow up in Atlanta, you support probably 90% of the time the Atlanta teams. We chose Atlanta Falcons, so we actually chose this pain. You know what I mean? I'll always say, Coach. So in 2008, I came to Atlanta. It was a property exhibition. I was a real estate agent at that point, and I always say when it gets really, really tough, I always say I just wish the people in Atlanta were really, really nasty to me, and didn't treat me so well.
They so good.
Then I would have left Atlanta and thought, you know what, I'm going to support the Chiefs. I'm not going to support this Atlanta Falcons team. So it's on the wonderful people of Atlanta. The reason why I decided to support this team. So
and see, to be fair, they keep us coming back for more. So like I've kind of told Maggie and Mike respectively on many occasions that they asked me on, so they only have themselves to blame for this, and everything that's kind of snowballed from thereafter is on you. It's not just me. So and all of you fans down in the chat can take a little bit of blame as well, because we keep coming back to give you guys your little bit of fix of Scottish culture and Falcons talk done Celtic style. So as I say,
well, it was one of the reasons why, obviously, when you and Maggie talked about doing the show, one of the reasons why I got involved was I wanted to show the effectively the fan base in Atlanta that because you would see on X every day the disrespect that came out for especially for the Atlanta Falcons, and I, for one, wanted to show the people in Atlanta that even at the other side of the world, this team, I mean, I love this team more than you guys would ever imagine. I honestly, it's the only time in the world where effectively my emotions get the better of me. I'm quite a laid back, staid guy, get my own business, so I have to be like that. But when the Falcons are on, I mean, it's literally my emotions are all over the place because I love this team. I've always said, but I'm always going to call out when I see something happen, whether it's the head coach, the owner, a player. If I see something that effectively affects my team, the team I love, then I'm going to call it out. And I know there might be people coming on and thinking, God, these guys, all they do is talk negative about the Atlanta Falcons. We love this team more than anything. But at the moment, we're 3-5. We're getting into a game against a 7-2 team who's leading the AFC, with the possibility that if we lose the game, our season's over. Mm-hmm. But at some point, we need to be honest with ourselves when we call out the issues that we see. It's not that we're being negative, we're just being honest. And I always say to people, I say to Will, I'll tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You know what I mean?
And that's the whole ethos. We are the voice of all the fans, but as fans, we can see how evident some of the easy adjustments are to make. We're gonna call it like we see it, and that's why I feel like there has been so many of you that have become frequent flyers that have followed. Literally, I was saying to Des before we got going and coach that there's guys that have literally been on the chat every single show since we started, and this is what keeps us coming back for more. As I say, like as many losses as we've sustained over our cumulative years as Falcons fans, it's never going to tarnish my love for the team. You might get a few fucks now and again because I'm not very happy, but I still love my team. So as I say, I will be here in support of the team tomorrow. So as I say, it's a little bit early for the guys stateside, so I will probably be waking most of you guys up tomorrow. Because I will be essentially doing the AFN International Now watch party for the Falcons Colts game. So stay tuned for that, I guess, tomorrow. From around about 20 minutes before kickoff.
And as I said to Coach, what time does the game start for you?
6:30.
Yeah. How terrible is it? You
well, that's in the West Coast too, so.
Yeah, how bad? I feel for you guys that have these games at ridiculous hours. You know what I mean? Now you know what it feels like to effectively be an international NFL fan.
Yeah. It's one of the few times in a season, and we like that there's more international games now because we get to kind of turn the clocks back on you a little bit. Yeah, how do you like it?
So what time would the game be for you guys tomorrow?
2:30 in the afternoon.
2:30, yeah, 2:30.
Because on a regular game during a weekday, when they play at the 1 o'clock game, it's 10 o'clock my time. It's still a little early. It's 10 o'clock my time.
And that's 6 o'clock our time, Coach. Yeah. Which is perfect. Monday Night Football or any. I must be the only fan, and we must be the only fans that don't want primetime games, because primetime games for the Atlanta Falcons
past midnight.
Means not 1:15 in the morning it starts.
Yeah. So we're not getting to bed by the time we have a chat afterwards and cool down. You're talking 5 in the morning. No. And then we usually go up to do something about it. But like as I say, we just recently did our first watch party with AFNI, and the result wasn't so thrilling, but the show itself was a great success. So we're looking to do it again. And as I say, we know, Coach, you've been doing the AFN watch parties for a long time. So as far as I can see it, this was also a little bit of a test run. So if you want to combine powers, and as I say, if you guys like the sound of this down in the chat, then drop us some red and blacks. You know we love to see that, and we can make it happen. You can get us three together more often to chat some buds for you.
Like on the weekend, so this is you guys' time every Saturday at 3:30. Well,
yeah, every Thursday and every Saturday. So anytime you're free, Coach, you're more than welcome. But before we wind down for the night, have you got anything you want to say in closing, sir?
Hey man, let's just wish luck tomorrow. Like Dad said, I don't feel like we're gonna win this game. But if we magically, I ain't gonna say magically, if we win this game tomorrow, That means Raheem stays another week.
Well,
I'm just gonna put it like that.
yeah. So the swings and roundabouts of it all. But you know what? If Magic's what it's going to take, man. Speaking as like we're residents of a country whose national animal is a unicorn. So we like to believe in a little bit of magic now and again. So if that's what it's going to take to get the win, then bring it on.
Yeah.
Des, any thoughts in closing before we do the little?
Yeah, I was going to say we live in a world where our national anthem is a mythical creature, and our national flower is a weed. It's actually the thistle is a weed. So that tells you all you need to know about Scotland. You know what I mean? But
it also means that if you've ever seen a thistle, it means that you're not sneaking up on a Scotsman either.
Absolutely,
we will hear you coming. Trust me, because there will come a point where you'll stand on one, and if you're not acclimatized to it, it's not pleasant. But as I say, before we wind down for the night, we want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. That was around about 50 again. So on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you've been watching us, we appreciate you all so much. If you do want to join, as I say, we've got a conversation to get to on X with Dan after the show. So keep your eyes peeled. He's going to be on for a chat soon. But as I say, if you do want to be part of it, you can get in touch with any of the panelists that are on, myself, Coach, Des, Maggie, through the socials. As I say, I'm going to be starting my solo shows as well, The Real Spill, which is going to be doing a little bit of a play into the football world in a broader scheme, as well as some pro wrestling and just a little bit of life talk. I may even play some guitar and sing you a couple of tunes here and there. Nothing set in stone just yet, but you're going to have to stay tuned for that. So I appreciate your patience while we've been putting that together. But as I say, Des, you're still on X, X only at the moment, yeah?
And again, shout out to everybody that's watching on Scottish Falcon X. Again, really, really humble by the amount of people that come through on my Scottish Falcon handle. So again, that's where I tend to be. So I would be honest and say that effectively I've went cold turkey this week after the Patriots game. I have not watched a press from any of the coaching staff. I've literally stayed away from it. So I've not been really busy week at work, so I haven't done much on X this week. But I always tend to do a lot during the game. If you want to see a Scotsman effectively losing his mind, then follow me on X.
And as we said, it's we're getting into the nitty gritty now. We're both getting up close to that 1,000 follower mark. So help your boys crush that threshold and more for the rest of the season. We're just going to keep the content coming. So as I say, anything that AFN's doing, you can expect that I'm going to be in there somewhere if I can manage it. But until then, as I say, I'll probably catch up with you tomorrow. But Des, you wanted to say something, brother?
Where can we find Coach and where can we find you, mate?
Coach, you first, my brother.
Oh, you can find me at Coach Unchained on everything. Coach Unchained.
Hell yeah. and as I say, and if there's ever anything that your boys don't know, talk to this man in the top right, and he will not steer you wrong. At least not too far wrong, anyway. Listen, thanks so much for being on with us again, Coach. Appreciate you so much.
Well, man, I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys.
Hopefully, we'll do it again real soon. And as I say, if you want to get at me, I'm Will the Thrill Waddell on everything. If you don't get me with the WAD-L, it'll be through the full spelling DDELL. Because it is Waddell, like Russell. I will hear no contestation that it is Waddell. Because as I say, there's the running joke that I have with, obviously, my uncle's a Miami Dolphins fan, so I'm like, just wait till we get Jalen Waddell, and I'm wearing that nice red and black Waddell jersey, and he's like, but it's not even spelt right. So I can't have nice things.
Can I just say something? So a few years ago, right, so there was a player in, I think he's still in the NFL, called Graham Glasgow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And I remember watching it was Monday Night Football, and he was saying his name, and he's changed it now, so he says it right. But I remember at that time he said Glasgow,
Yes.
and I was literally losing my mind. Now he says Glasgow.
Yes.
But when you're talking about Waddell and everything, effectively a guy that doesn't know how, he does now, but a guy then that didn't know how to say his second name was ridiculous. So
It's funnily enough, the only word that I do that with is because I've worn the helmets. It's Waddell. That's the only, but that because that's an American brand, that's the only word that I'll do that with. Literally.
So I've always called it Rydell. So it's not Rydell.
Ah, okay. But I always imagined Rydell would be a Y, like the high school from Greece.
Right.
At least myself. We could. I digress. But as I say, yeah. No, so a few hours reset for me, and then back to it. But we'll catch you for the watch party tomorrow. But until then, as I say, if you do have any questions, you can drop them down in the chat, and we will get back to them as well. You can always join us if you want to earn your kilt. Never forget that we love our ATL. And before we wish you good night, as we always do, you want to start us off, Des?
Yeah. Pain is international,
but so is passion.
Right.
Thank you so much again, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Coach.
No problem. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Take care.
Oh, yeah.